So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our offseason rebuild series, and today it's going to be the New York Knicks. On Saturday night, the Knicks season officially came to an end, and what a season it was. I give this team all the credit in the world to making it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but unfortunately they ran into a team in the Indiana Pacers who really just seemed like a team of destiny at this point. So, I think about this playoff run that the New York Knicks had, the way this team has kind of been all in this season, and I do consider it in some ways a success, but I also think when you look at it kind of from the bigger picture, this team could have accomplished more. So our goal today is to obviously figure out what needs to be changed about this team. Of course, in real life, the majority of this core is going to be locked in moving forward, but I think here in 2K today, definitely some changes on the horizon. Of course, let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. Now, I was originally planning on uploading this video on Tuesday because obviously Monday night would have been Game 7. I'm here recording this on Sunday, but you guys are actually seeing this one on Monday. So it's going to be a Timberwolves rebuild tomorrow, and then from there, whatever it is you guys are looking for, let me hear it down below. But yeah, man, in some sense of it, I feel bad for Knicks fans, but as a salty Celtics fan, I don't really care. So let's get into this. I promise you I'll do my best to get your team a championship. It is time for the 2025 offseason. We are officially here. Of course, as I mentioned, this is a talented roster. There is absolutely no denying that. So let's go ahead. Let's break it down. I, of course, will give you all of my thoughts on this team moving forward. So, starting out here at the point guard spot, I thought Jalen Brunson was absolutely fantastic for the most part in this series. Didn't have the greatest Game 6 in the world, but ultimately, really nobody on this team looked necessarily fantastic. But Brunson is a superstar player, in my opinion, one of the top 10, 11, 12, whatever you want to put him at players in the world. The contract is absolutely fantastic. He, of course, took a pay cut, and he is the face of New York basketball. So there's pretty much a 0% chance Jalen Brunson goes anywhere here today. I see the discussion all the time. Can he be the best player on a championship team? I guess we'll find out not only in real life at some point, but of course we'll find out here today within these 3 years. The backup point guard spot's probably something we'll look to upgrade eventually. I do think that Tyler Kolek could maybe develop to the point where he could some sort of consistent playing time. Of course, did not really play at all for this Knicks team, but Cameron Payne, probably not an answer for us. I thought DeLon Wright gave him some pretty good minutes. He was pretty strong defensively, but, these are not really reliable backup options for a 3-year rebuild. Now, we move to the shooting guard spot. I was not very impressed with Mikal Bridges in the Eastern Conference Finals. Look, I'll put it out there. He absolutely torched my Celtics. I'm not going to sit here and deny that, but when we look at kind of the biggest stage that Knicks basketball has been on in quite a long time, you need more from a guy like Mikal Bridges and what you gave up to get him. So, I didn't expect Bridges to put up 25 a game. That's just unrealistic. But, I thought his shot selection at times was not necessarily the greatest. He spent the majority of the series being guarded by Tyrese Halliburton. It just didn't really seem like he was himself. So, I'm going to give him a little bit of a break here. Of course, has 1 year left on this deal, but they did give up a lot for him. So, the expectations have to be high, and they're also in New York, so the expectations are always going to be high. I'd like to continue to develop Deuce McBride as my backup 2 guard, whether he's the backup 2, the backup 1. I think he'll be a really impactful player for us throughout this video. Landry Shamet actually got some playing time in that series against Indiana, and I thought he actually gave him some pretty good minutes. I saw a lot of Knicks fans on Twitter saying, we went through an 82-game season, and Thibs didn't really do much with the rotation, and finally you get to the Eastern Conference Finals and he starts messing with it. So I saw a lot of people upset about that, but I did think Shamet, gave them some pretty decent run for the minutes that he did end up playing. OG Anunoby, I thought, was their best player in Game 6. I thought he did a lot of things really well. Of course, an elite defensive player. I think his offensive game has really taken another step as well. So, I feel like OG Anunoby is one of those players that is not going to hit a wide open 3. He's going to hit a 3 with 2 hands in his face. It just kind of feels like that's how OG works. But I have no plans of moving on from him here today. Some of his shot tendencies can be a little weird here in 2K. He doesn't always put up the best numbers in the world, at least offensively, but we'll kind of just see what we want to do there. Dadier is here as well, of course, only 19 years old. Now, this backup small forward spot, is something we could look to upgrade this offseason. Again, this is a team that is obviously ready to win now. We're kind of not completely all in, but about as all in as you can be. So, I'm going to try to maybe upgrade this backup behind Anunoby. I thought Josh Hart was terrible. I understand he, got the double-doubles in a couple of the games. I thought he was absolutely awful. I did not really feel his impact the way it was felt in that second-round Eastern Conference semifinal series. I don't know if it was something that Indiana did strategically, but I just didn't see it with Josh Hart. He, of course, ended up eventually moving to the bench, and they gave the nod to Mitchell Robinson in the starting 5, but I was not impressed with Josh Hart. I thought this was a series where he could have potentially stepped up, and they really didn't get nearly enough for him. So, I'm not sure what my plans are with him here today. The chemistry of the Knicks is obviously fantastic here in 2K. That's not nearly going to matter as much, so maybe if we were to look to maybe trade Hart, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but he's 30, he's got 2 years left. I'm not really sure. Precious Achiuwa definitely did not get consistent playing time. Now, he is a 78 overall, so it's not a horrible idea to give him playing time. Of course, talking 2K now, not real life. So we'll see what we want to do here today at the backup power forward spot. I thought Towns was really consistent throughout this series. Of course, he's always going to be, not the most elite defensive player in the world. He's going to pick up the dumb fouls. It's just the way he is. I thought he was really good offensively, though. Of course, that 3-ball in that second round series was pretty much completely disappeared, and I thought he really brought it back there in the Eastern Conference Finals. Had a tough closeout game, as did the majority of the New York Knicks, but I'm excited to see what he can do with another year with Jalen Brunson, and now especially a full offseason together. Mitchell Robinson was an absolute stud. I was wildly impressed by Mitchell Robinson. I think he made himself a lot of money throughout that playoff run that they just had. I thought he was an absolute demon on the offensive glass. His defense completely held up and, of course, was fully healthy, or at least seemed to be. So I'm excited to see what Mitchell Robinson is moving forward, but, whether he's just a rim-running lob threat and whether he's a starting center for them, I have no idea, but very excited. And then maybe we'll see if Huck Porty can develop, eventually get some playing time. So that's the team. I think Dibs is probably safe. I don't know how many Knicks fans feel about that. Here in 2K, the ratings are pretty strong. That's kind of the only thing I care about. So, he has 2 years left on his deal. If we end up having a not-so-great 2 years or a really awful first season, maybe we'll reassess when the time does come. But it's hard to fire a coach after getting a team to the Eastern Conference Finals. All right, it is time for the 2025 NBA Draft. We are working with nothing in terms of first-round draft picks and not a whole lot in terms of future capital as well. Of course, this Wizards pick is probably not actually going to be our pick. Shout out 2K. They get the protections wrong more than anybody. What I actually wouldn't mind doing is maybe trying to combine some of these seconds in order to get a first. This is not something I do super often, but when it comes to it, and I honestly don't really have much in the draft department, it actually tends to be one of my strategies that I use because, we have realistically 2 tradable firsts. That's going to be our first next year and our first, or actually not our first, it's a swap in 2028 because, of course, a lot of these picks were tied up in the Mikal Bridges deal. So I'm just trying to get some sort of draft capital here. Again, it doesn't need to be anything super elite, but if there's a team out there that's, feeling generous and wants to give me a draft pick, like how the Hornets stupid enough to do this, I highly doubt it. Okay, nope, definitely not that. It's probably gonna have to be a team like, how about the Warriors in 2027? Yeah, I'm not gonna do this with all of these picks, but just trying to find somebody, any team out there who can give me a tradable asset moving forward. Like the Thunder have 8 million draft picks. Like, would you be willing to deal this? Okay, cool. Just trying to get some draft capital. So, not going to be drafting anybody this year. Of course, this already is a relatively deep team. Huck Porty will be brought back. Marjon Beauchamp not going to be getting that qualifying offer. And then we head here to free agency where, there's not really many major free agents. I think given what this roster does look like, I think here in 2K it makes sense to bring back Precious Achiuwa. Probably going to let Beauchamp just go. And at this point, of course, we're going to look to upgrade this bench unit a little bit. I think that kind of goes without being said. We might consider a starting 5 upgrade as well. So trying not to piss off New York Knicks fans here today, but again, trying to win and view this video with logic, not emotion. So let's see what we can do. I might get some shit for this trade. I understand it, but I think it was going to be worth it. We're going to offer Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson to the Miami Heat and hopefully get back Bam Adebayo. Now, Mitchell Robinson basically has to be in this trade to make the money work. As you can see, we're about 12.3 million off. Of course, Robinson's contract slides in there basically perfectly. And if you look at everybody else who's on the bench, there's really nothing else that makes sense. So we're going to put in Robinson. Again, I don't think his impact would have been felt nearly as much in 2K as it is in real life. There's really nobody else I'm really willing to trade. I guess I could maybe move Dadier. We get it done. My goal right there was to keep as many draft picks as possible because those are going to be really valuable trade pieces eventually. All right, at this point, we need to find ourselves a new backup center. We need to find ourselves a new backup small forward, and then Tyler Kolek, honestly, going to be actually getting a little bit of run here. So I don't know who this is going to be. Maybe we bring back former New York Knick Luke Cornett. Again, not my favorite option in the world, but I think he should suffice for a year or two. And then the backup small forward spot, again, not going to be great. There's just really no denying that. Oh, boy. Okay, Lamar Stevens. Oh, boy. This is not great. This is definitely not great. I'll see you guys at the start of year 1. First season in New York has officially arrived. I have finalized this 10-man rotation the way that I think it'll work best. Starting 5, probably no real surprises here. Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Bam Adebayo, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Now, I think when you look at this, 2 through 4, absolutely elite defensively. 1 and 5, absolutely elite offensively. So, I think we mix and match really well. I think the real thing with this team is going to be the depth and how it kind of holds up in the long term, because the starting 5 is absolutely unbelievable. Bench unit will be led by Deuce McBride. He's going to be my 6th man playing 20 minutes a night. Of course, brought back Precious Achiuwa. Luke Cornett, we ended up technically bringing back, I guess, in some sense of it. He'll be the backup behind Karl-Anthony Towns. Tyler Kolek, now fully into this rotation. So, hopefully his lack of playing time last season does not end up hurting him up too much. And then finally, Lamar Stevens, who actually is up to a 76 overall. So not too bad, actually. But of course, an area we will likely upgrade eventually. But that's the team. Of course, 10-man rotations are not something that the Knicks do very often. I believe that their starters play the most minutes per game on average in all of basketball. So, hopefully this spreads it out a little bit. Hopefully the Stars kind of carry us. And maybe back in the Eastern Conference Finals, hopefully in NBA Finals. See you guys at the end of year number 1. So Nikola Jokic took a year off from winning MVPs, and he is back doing so. More importantly, more relevant to us, we go 56-26. Pretty solid year number 1. I have no idea if that's the 1, 2, 3 seed here in the Eastern Conference, but I do imagine it is one of those options. Cooper Flagg ended up going number 1 overall to Dallas. He wins Rookie of the Year. Josh Giddey now is a Detroit Piston. He's your 6th man. Giannis wins Depoy Kalel, Most Improved. Paolo Banchero, Clutch Player of the Year. And 61-21 gives Kenny Atkinson Coach of the Year. So, yes, we are not the 1 seed here in the Eastern Conference, but we are the 2 seed. So that's pretty good news right there. We'll be facing a play-in team in round 1, and then here is a look at the Western Conference. Let's talk about some of the numbers for this team real quick. Jalen Brunson doing his thing, Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, Bam Adebayo. So we had 4 guys that were 16-plus point per game scores. As I mentioned kind of in the intro and going over this roster, there's something off with OG Anunoby's shot tendencies. Now, I understand that this team is loaded, especially, and they obviously have a lot of scoring options, but it just seems weird seeing OG making, 11.5 points a game seem normal. Deuce McBride, Tyler Kolek, Precious Achiuwa, Lamar Stevens, Luke Cornett. Rebounding department is going to be Cat. Him and Bam both double digits. That's awesome. And then Jalen Brunson at 6.5 assists per game. So round 1 going to be us in the Chicago Bulls. Okay. Lonzo, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu. Okay, really? If we lose this series, I might retire from this fucking game. What? 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 How is this possible? Oh my good God. All right. Well, let's get into it here. Jalen Brunson, what the fuck, dude? You're proving the critics right now. Just so we're clear. Right? You're matched up against Lonzo Ball. Let's get it together here, dude. A 7-game series, you put up 17, 2, and 4 on 38% from the field. That is just terrible. I mean, Towns wasn't necessarily himself either, but holy smokes. Bam Adebayo was not great offensively. I mean, Bridges didn't even shoot the ball well. Hell, nobody really shot the ball well. So, wow. That is a disappointing ending, and it certainly is going to take a big look in the mirror for us here. It is Dallas and Detroit in the finals. Shocker. Dallas wins it all. 2K loves the Mavericks. Anthony Davis finals MVP. Okay. Well, we are going to enter offseason number 2. We didn't, do anything super crazy. Well, I guess the Bam Adebayo trade was pretty crazy in offseason number 1. But, yeah, that's absolutely insane. It's also going to say we have the Wizards pick. We do not. I respect the pick protections. I'm not listening to 2K because they're wrong. So let me just go double check and confirm what this is. If we have some sort of other pick from it, I'll be back. This is very painful to read, but not shocking, and as I just mentioned, I do respect the pick protections and how things actually work, unlike 2K. So I'll just read you this off of Fanspo. Washington's 2026 first-round pick to New York, protected for selections 1 through 10. If Washington does not convey a first-round pick to New York in 2026, then Washington will instead convey its 2026 second and 2027 second to New York. So, yeah, this is 5th overall. Obviously, that falls within the protected range. The somewhat good news, I guess, is that the Wizards' second-round draft pick is the first pick in round 2, and then this is obviously their second-round pick from next year as well. Of course, I'd still take the 5th overall pick, but I'm just trying to be somewhat positive. Thibs is getting fired. I know I mentioned that we might let him ride out that contract, but that Bulls team was dreadful, and we were clearly better, and we should have won that series. There should have been no question about that. So I'm going to make some offers here. We are New York. We should have a pretty big budget in terms of our coach. I wouldn't mind maybe Jason Kidd. And then there should be, Mark Daigneault could be a nice option as well. I've had some success with Cabello, but I think I'd rather have one of, the guys I've offered so far. So, Stauffer is going to be the only one that accepts. Fine. We kind of need all the help we can get at this point, I guess. All right, so what are we working with? Because I know we do have the first overall pick in round 2. We also have our own pick at number 26. So, I'm going to draft somebody, I think, at both these spots. We are lacking a little bit of depth on the back end of this rotation. So if we can maybe, hit on one of these picks, I think it would be pretty beneficial for me. So let's see who's sitting here, who's available. Florian Badunga, Carter Knox, Maggie. Okay. Alex Caravan sitting here. It's not a bad idea. Caden Boozer. Okay. Backup center could be a possibility. So Badunga could make some sense. Backup small forward also, a potential need. So Carter Knox could also make some sense. I'm going to go with Carter Knox. I don't think I've really ever drafted him before. And then we will also use the first pick in round 2 here. Alex Caravan still sitting here. Pretty much everybody's a C- or lower. Maggie, I don't know who this is. I'll take Alex Caravan. 2 small forwards, I know. Not very exciting. All right, 72 and 71 overall, respectively. We have no team player options. We're looking at qualifying. And then I think Mikal Bridges is kind of our one and only big free agent. He has 2 offers right now, neither of which are real. He wants about 32 annually. It's not the end of the world, and I'm willing to extend him it. So welcome back, Mikal Bridges, 5 years, $187.5 million. All right, are there more trades coming? I think so. We are trading Luke Kornet in 3 second-round picks to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and in return, we're going to land ourselves Jalen Tyson. Now, I know I just drafted 2 small forwards, unfortunately, neither of which will likely now crack this rotation, but I've seen Jalen Tyson develop in these videos, and he sometimes gets up to like an 82, 83 overall. He has a year of team control past this, and I think it's going to be really beneficial for us at the backup small forward spot. And again, just trying to improve this bench unit kind of slowly but surely. So again, this does leave us with a pretty gaping hole behind Karl-Anthony Towns, but I think we'll just sign one of the guys in free agency similar to what we did last year. So, Drew Eubanks, Marvin Bagley, Thomas Bryant, these options are not necessarily elite by any sense of the imagination, but I'll throw a little money at Bagley for 2 years. At least he's still a relatively okay age, and I don't know, same overall pretty much as Luke Kornet. So I think that's a pretty good, kind of boring-ish offseason. I get it, but we've also given ourselves some future assets in Carter Knox and Alex Caravan. So, I think we're in a pretty good spot right now. No changes to the starting 5, but I think we are, again, hopefully going to be back as one of the top seeds in the East and hopefully going a little bit further in the playoffs this time. After a very disappointing ending to our first season here with the Knicks, we are ready to go for our second season. Now, we did not make any changes to the starting 5. It remains exactly the same, and I am feeling pretty good about that. I think the bench unit has also improved, of course, new head coach, so we're going to be optimistic for now, anyways. Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Bam Adebayo, Karl-Anthony Towns. Bench unit, Deuce McBride, of course, brought in Jalen Tyson in that deal with Cleveland, and he's now up to an 81, so feels like a really good trade for us. Precious Achiuwa is still here, Tyler Kolek, and finally we brought in Marvin Bagley. So this is the squad. Again, we are really elite 1 through 5. I think the depth has also improved as well, and of course, a major upgrade in terms of our head coach. So let's see what happens. I'll see you guys at the end of year number 2. Not exactly the thing I want to tell you, but the thing I have to tell you. We were somehow worse by 5 games. 50 and 32 is the final record. Of course, it is not the season we were thinking we were going to have. It's certainly not the season we hoped we were going to have, but it's the reality of what we are in right now. It's still going to be a playoff spot, so not writing it out yet. Nikola Jokic wins another MVP. AJ DeBanza also. How the fuck is he in Denver, right? I have no idea. Josh Giddey, once again, 6th man. This time it's in Memphis. Wemby wins Depoy. Liam McNeely, most improved hero, clutch player of the year. And 67 wins gives Jason Kidd coach of the year. Okay, well, we are, still the 2 seed. Thankfully, the Eastern Conference is just absolutely dreadful. Here is a look at the West. Let's talk about some of the numbers for this team real quick. Jalen Brunson still leading us in scoring. Karl-Anthony Towns, Adebayo, Bridges, Tyson, Anunoby continues to go down in the scoring department. So, I'm not saying he's the problem with this team, but he's probably the guy that's going to get moved if we do not win a championship. But just put it out there. Don't want to get ahead of myself. All right, we're facing a play-in team once again. That play-in team is going to be the Brooklyn Nets, so a little battle of New York here. Demeen, Wallace, Thomas, Johnson, Claxton. Again, I think we should beat them, but I also thought we should beat the Bulls last year. So we'll go game by game with them. Hopefully end up finally winning a goddamn series. We do win it in 5. Little gentleman's sweep. All right, the 6-seeded Pistons beat the 3-seeded Indiana Pacers. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Hood-Schifino. He got Azar Thompson. Oh, Triple J's a nice addition. Jalen Duren. Okay, they've made some moves. A lot of really strong defensive players there, so should be a pretty interesting series against another really strong defensive team. And us, we're 2-2. We go up 3-2, and we're on to the Eastern Conference Finals. So, feeling good. And we do once again have home court advantage because the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the 1-seed Bulls. Okay. Garland, Mitchell, Hunter, Mobley, Allen, and Hachimura now here as well. This is a really good team. I'm surprised they're not higher than a 4-seed. We do win the first 2, though, and we win game 3. They do take home game 4. We win the series. We are in the NBA Finals, my friends. We are taking, oh shit. Anybody but Dallas. Like, legitimately anybody but Dallas would have been my preference. And yes, they're like, what the hell? How do you have Walker Kessler, Jakob Poeltl here now? I mean, what on earth? And it's not even just because their roster's loaded, which it is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not denying that. It's a very talented roster. But it's just because whatever it is about 2K, they absolutely fucking love Dallas. We're down 2-1 right now. We go down 3-1. Probably not going to be winning this championship. What an unserious team we are right now. Just, oh my God. We have 53 points almost 3 minutes into the fourth quarter. Just getting our fucking backs blown out. And we did not consent. Wow. 74 points in a closeout game in the NBA Finals. Just absolutely fucking dreadful. This was a brutal series for Brunson. Conference Finals and then NBA Finals. Yeah, I mean, it just looks like nobody really played super well. Brutal series for Bridges. 10 points a game. He's a 38.5% from the field. Just disgusting, quite frankly. That's the only real words I have to say it right now. So we had Jordan Clarkson at the end of this bench. That's cool. We are going to definitely be making a major change or two. Again, I'm not just going to give up my guys, but I do think that a move is necessary. So no lottery picks. The 76ers somehow end up with the first overall pick again. Not again, but you understand my point. We're good with Stauffer. I mean, I literally can't get a better coach than that. So we're going to keep him for now. What are we working with? Do we have anything here? We have the 26th overall pick. It's from Denver. I will use it. Whoever we take, probably going to be in a bigger trade. Trent Perry. Sure. Welcome to the team. Okay. Without a doubt, it is time for a move. Towns declines. He's going to free agency. That's expected. Towns has actually been pretty consistent so far throughout this video. Him and Deuce McBride are both players I'd like to retain. Very expensive price tag, and that's fine. All right, we are now going to swing a big deal. I'd love to find a way to add Shaedon Sharpe to this team. I'm sure many of you are aware, but I'm a pretty big Shaedon Sharpe fan. I think he would be a nice upgrade offensively, and just in terms of the overall, I think it makes a lot of sense for us. So I'm offering up OG Anunoby and Trent Perry, who of course we just drafted, and hopefully find a way to get a deal done here with the Golden State Warriors, who now somehow have Shaedon Sharpe on their team. I'd also be willing to include Marvin Bagley. That doesn't make sense because of the contract. Can't afford Carter Knox. So it's pretty much draft picks from here on out. So I do want to include picks, but I have to be somewhat careful. Shit. Oh my God. Is this not going to happen? Oh my God. Holy shit. All right. That's a lot to give up. No denying that. Maybe one more trade on the horizon. We are now going to be sending Mikal Bridges, Alex Caravan, and the one draft pick we have remaining to the Atlanta Hawks. And in return, we're going to land ourselves Dyson Daniels. Daniels is a better player at this point in time than Bridges is, even if the overalls remain the same. Daniels is also going to go up to likely around a 90 overall to kick off next season. So we'll move Shaedon Sharpe to the small forward spot. It's fine. The NBA now in 2027. I don't think positions really matter. Do I want to upgrade the backup point guard spot? That could be possible. Good here at the 2-guard spot. I'm very comfortable with Tyson. Knox will be in another trade because I do think I want to find a center upgrade as well. It just really depends on Kolek, but that's kind of my last priority. So Carter Knox, Marvin Bagley, and then the first we just got from Atlanta. I need some sort of center or point guard if there's a major up. Oh, Nikola Topic. Yep, welcome to the team. And then Kolek for some sort of center. Again, it's not going to be anybody who's out of the... Oh, wow, there's actually pretty much nothing there. Okay, well, who's available here in free agency? Chris Boucher is 78 overall, but he's 34 years old. Jacques Londale could bring back Cornette. Oh, boy. I don't really like any of those, to be quite frank with you. Okay, Adem Bond is in here. So, what the fuck? Okay. We're all set. We have made as many upgrades as I think we possibly can. We have basically an all 80-plus rotation outside of Preston Achua. And, yeah, I'm just hoping this can be the team that can finally get us a championship. Third and final season here in New York. Last year made it all the way to the NBA Finals after a really disappointing playoff exit in year one, but we did come up short. Now, did I have to force the issue as much as I did this past offseason? I don't know. I think the answer was yes, because we're in this to win a championship, not to just make the finals. So we made a lot of moves. Jalen Brunson's still here. Brought in Dyson Daniels and Shaedon Sharpe. So 2 new starters for this team. Still got Bam and Cat as our 4 and 5. Bench unit significantly improved, though. Nikola Topic taking over as 6-man. Jalen Tyson's developing nicely. Still got Deuce McBride, Preston Achua, and Adem Bona rounding out this all 80-plus 10-man rotation. So, yeah, if this team can't win a championship, I'm just convinced that New York basketball is cursed forever. So, see you guys at the end of the final regular season. Jokic wins another MVP. Who cares at this point? We go 70-12. It is easily our best season to date. It's not even close. And hopefully, this is the group that can get over the hump. Tyron Stokes is in Utah. He's your rookie of the year. Boozer off the bench. Wemby, your depoy. Boozer also most improved. John Morant, clutch player of the year. And Mike Stauffer does get a coach of the year for us. So we are all in. It is championship or bust. We led the NBA by 10 games, a very wide margin. Looks like the scoring spread out a little bit, but I kind of expected that. And let's just go win this thing at this point. There's really nothing left to say. So first time in this video, we are the 1 seed. It is the Indiana Pacers here. Ooh, did I trade Mikal Bridges there? No, I traded him. I thought for Dyson Daniels to Atlanta. Okay, never mind. Let's see what happens here in the first round of the Eastern Conference. Oh my God, 2K. I swear to God, like, I swear to God. You all know this. I'm a Celtics fan. I do not like the Knicks at all. I don't like a single New York sport out there. Similar to probably how New York fans feel about Boston sports. I gave it my all in this one. I don't think anybody can deny that. This team, this franchise is fucking cursed. I mean, there's legitimately no denying that. Brunson, what are we doing, dude? Are we just proving the critics right that you can't be the best player on a championship team? I mean, Cat has pretty much always done that in the playoffs. Bam was ass. Sharp sucked. Topic was trash. What the fuck is this? 5.5 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. He's 27% from the field. You put up 34-year-old Draymond Green numbers and shot unbelievably worse than he does. Oh my God. And you're a 90 overall, making $180 million over the next 4 years. Must be nice. It really must be. Wow. All right. Well, Knicks fans, I'm sorry. I tried. I really did. Luka's a bull. I really did, man. I really did try. I'm not going to lie. I mean, look at this team. I don't really know. So I wanted to talk when we did the gameplay, if we had gotten to a finals and won one, about this Knicks team and the series and the playoff run that they just had. But, you know, it was an impressive run. Don't get me wrong. I mean, when you look at how they were throughout the regular season, they were 0-10 against the three best teams in the world, in the Celtics, the Thunder, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then they get to the playoffs, and they pretty much absolutely come back and kick the shit out of the Celtics in round 2. And I'm not blaming the injury bug. It's not how I'm going about this, but the Knicks earned that series. I thought they had a really, really good chance to get by Indiana and make, you know, the NBA Finals for the first time in fucking forever. And then they ran into a buzzsaw, and they ran into a team in Indiana that was there last year, whether you call that a fluke run or not. I'm not doing that right now, but that Indiana team gained some really valuable experience last year against the Celtics in the conference finals, and oh boy, was it on display. I mean, when that offense clicks, it is pretty much impossible to stop. I thought New York's defense at times looked significantly worse than it did against the Celtics. That offense got a little stagnant at times as well, and yeah, man, I'll be interested to see what they do this offseason, because I'm pretty sure they're are they a second apron team? I don't know that off the top of my head, but relatively speaking, either way, they're pretty capped with the moves they can make. There's not a lot of draft picks. There's not a lot of young players that teams are going to want, so it'll be interesting. It definitely will be, but yeah, my apologies, Knicks fans. I wasn't trying to hate and blow up your team. I genuinely thought this squad was a championship-winning team. Basically had 590 overalls, but I guess 2K disagrees. So all the best of luck to you Knicks fans moving forward. It should be an interesting offseason for you, and I am very excited for the NBA Finals. So that'll do it for me. Let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.